Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. We got a full bench. We're on the Dean Blundell Network. It's Friday night. Nothing else to do because there's nothing else to do. I'm joined by my good friends Ted, Brayden, Bob's son. You guys, I just decided to, you're always told to like change all your passwords every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just keep it so that it's secure. I just went full bore and I changed all my passwords to Kenny. So now they're all Kenny logins.
Oh,
The thing is,
my man. Oh man, that's good. I like that.
Now Ryan's got the dad jokes. Okay.
I think like I'm kind of flirting though. I might be into the danger zone at this point with too many of the same password. So,
you never know.
Just saying. Boys, welcome back. There's been one Canucks game since Christmas.
Crazy.
And it was a good one.
I can't even remember.
Maybe there's two.
It was good.
I think they played Seattle, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
Nice.
They did. And they won. There's your Canucks update.
I was so lost in, holidays that game I completely went right by me. Woke up the next day and was like, wait, what? Canucks played last night? How the heck did that happen? So, good to see a win though.
Yeah, and they're still undefeated in regulation.
Yes.
So there's that.
8-0-1 under Big Bruce.
I mean, there's something to be said for that. So maybe the Canucks are who we didn't think they were, which is weird to say.
You know what? They're right back in it. You can't deny it anymore. There's like a 4, maybe 6 point gap between like 9 or 10 teams, which is it's great. So.
But they win one game and they're now in the playoffs.
Crazy.
In the playoff picture, they win 2 games and they're flirting with like the division lead. Flirting with it, which is ridiculous. And you know who isn't flirting with the division lead anymore? The Edmonton
Oilers.
Oh,
like we're doing like, have we come full circle?
Not yet.
Oilers,
no,
it's close.
No, because they still need to go out in the higher green, and then they need to get Benning on board. Then they have to start flying banners over the city of Edmonton, saying "Fire said duo
champion."
And then once that happens, they can begin the road back to success.
But their goaltending is falling apart. Their goaltender is actually like calling out the guys that have thrown him under the bus.
Is it falling apart though, or just has it always been bad?
Well, it's falling apart again.
We talked about this a lot at the beginning of the season and the off-season moves they made and what we thought what kind of team they were going to be. And it was going to be a team that, revolved around McDavid and Draisaitl being awesome. And their goaltenders playing better than they are really capable of playing.
But now it's like, it's literally that. Like, it's not even like just jokingly generally that. It's literally those two guys. And if there's goaltending, they have a chance to win. If there's not, they lose outright.
Yeah, I think the comparable, because I love these comparables. I think it's like similar to trying to plug up a knife wound with a Band-Aid. Like it's Koskinen and Smith are Band-Aids at this point. Like what can they do?
No, they can't do much. And the crazy thing about it,
and what would you expected them to do?
Like they can't play outside their limits.
No.
Especially, how old is Smith now? 41, 42?
Old as balls.
Yeah. So
grandfather Smith, Granny Smith.
And and the funny thing about it, as just makes me kind of laugh as a Canucks fan, is that I was certain they were going to be going hard after Marc-Andre Fleury.
Edmonton.
Yeah. And
that makes sense.
But here they are, like still.
They still might go.
They have to go. I think that's what they have to do. I mean, Chicago's 12, 14 points out right now. They're not looking like they're going to be a playoff team. So if Edmonton wants to be serious, I think maybe they take a shot at Marc-Andre.
It's not a terrible idea. They need, if they're going to make any kind of, not damage, because that's not going to be what they're going to do. But if the Oilers want any kind of semblance of a playoff entrance, they need a goaltender. They need a lot more than that. They need basically, like, have we not had this conversation probably 3 times this season? But since pretty much the start of our tenures at Jersey City, what have been the 2 things the Oilers have always needed? Because they had essentially the other stuff: goaltending and defense, and they're still freaking there.
When was the last time they had a high-end goaltender?
Dwayne Rollison had like a good playoff run one time.
Yeah, Rolly. Maybe Tommy Salo.
Those are runs, though. That's not a...
Yeah, they really haven't... They had...
Rolly was good.
He was good.
Yeah.
And who is that guy? I think he was for the Wild, played for the Wild for a bit.
Rolly?
Manny Fernandez? Rollison?
No, he plays for them now.
Dubnyk.
Dubnyk.
Yeah, but they had Dubnyk when he wasn't good. Like they,
right?
Well, it's not. I guess Dubnyk probably was good, but the Oilers were so bad at that point that he couldn't help them.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think that's what it was.
It like you look at the last 20 years of that team, and yeah, this is supposed to be a Canucks podcast, but we talk hockey.
Yeah,
you look at the last 20
years. The Oilers a bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we do. You look at the last 20 years of that team, and it's the exact same story with different things. But they've also gone from getting all these first overall or second overall picks, and now they're like a little bit in the middle, but it's the same problems without the glamour of the top 3 draft pick.
And herein lies the problem, right? Because if you're the Edmonton Oilers, how on earth can you have a Leon Draisaitl on your team and a Connor McDavid on your team and not make a concerted effort during what looks like a really bad season for them to try to fix it via trades, right? Like they're going to have to go out and try to get a quality goaltender for a playoff run because that's what they need in a year where maybe they shouldn't necessarily be doing that. But when you have those guys on your team, you have to appease everybody and you have to continually try to reload, right? But I mean, this is a bad season for them, and it could go very, 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 very wrong. And I don't know if that's the type of team that wants to be giving up a bunch of assets to try to get their hands on a goaltender, even though that's what they'll do, because that's what they need to do because of the players that are sitting on that roster, i.e., Draisaitl and McDavid.
It kind of feels like Ken Holland might be in a similar position to what Benning was in. You know,
How long has he been there, Brady?
He's got these. I don't even know.
2 years, 3 years, not even.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like he's got these star players and you know, they haven't been able to make that next push. They haven't been able to be a true playoff contender or a playoff team even. And now you know, like they're kind of in that spot where it's okay, do we sit back and do we try to gain some assets again or do we make a trade and go for it? Like are these players are elite players. These are some of the best players in the league. So, like, think about Pittsburgh when they were good. Like, think about Rutherford when he was running that team.
But it wasn't that
you know,
bad.
You're always trading. When you have that good combo of players,
you have to
always going to try to trade and reload. As long as you have them, you're going for that cup. I think Holland's in a position right now where he's got to decide if he's going to go that route or not.
It's so funny too to think that it's Holland, right? Because you go from Holland as the Oilers GM, no goaltending to speak of, to no goaltending to speak of. You have a guy like Koskinen puts together a good game, like 17 game streak, ends up with a massive contract, and now he can't really do anything for your franchise because that's not who he is. To old school Holland, who at one point had like Manny Legacy, Curtis Joseph, and Dominic Hasek on his roster at the same time.
It's $16 million worth of contracts and goaltenders, and they were all on the roster.
Yeah, it's silly. It's bears on bicycles. Like
bears on bicycles. I just want to remind everybody too that if you're watching us on YouTube tonight, go on over to YouTube, have a comment. We'll answer. We'll talk to you. I mean, we're all just hanging out here, just enjoying ourselves. So go on the YouTube, Dean Blundell. Also, it looks like we've got a few feeds on there. So come on in, say hi. You know, maybe leave a telegram or can you Venmo? Do we have Venmo in Canada? Can you do that?
Via carrier pigeon,
PayPal. Send us stuff. Yeah. So don't forget to don't forget to come and say hi because we'd appreciate having you. You guys, Christmas happened. I think you're.
It did.
It happened.
Yes.
I did absolutely nothing for Christmas. We basically did I don't think I've had like a boredom Christmas, not boredom. Like I slept in every day.
Oh,
Absolutely
nice.
every day. Like I went all like teenager. I slept in, I had a coffee in the morning, and we may have amounted to like walking a lap around the house. Like we just didn't do anything. It was great. I loved it. But I did catch up, and I saved it for the show because we just about spilled all the beans. I saw Hawkeye in its entirety,
Nice.
and I also saw Is it Shang-Chi? Did I get it right?
Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi.
I'm not sure. I think it's Shang-Chi.
Freaking rad movie. Loved it.
Against my middle name, I am not the authority here. My last name, I'm not the authority here.
I wasn't going to ask.
Yeah,
but thank you.
But you did ask.
Did I ask?
Saying I'm not the authority.
Okay, so I think I put it to the room more than anything. Wow. And we also watched. I can't remember if it was at Christmas or right before. Black Widow.
Nice. So good.
Like you
underrated.
You have to see Black Widow to see Hawkeye. So if you haven't seen Black Widow and you're gonna watch, you should probably do that first. If you're one of the people that needs to see it in what's in sequence is the proper.
And stick around for the extra credits, you guys. It's been 14 years. Like
people know to do that now, though, right?
And I see people getting up, and I'm like, have you not figured this out yet? It's been 14 years.
Yeah. Everybody should
I pity the fools. I pity the fools. You should know better by now.
And they do it in the show, and they do it in Hawkeye as well. So every episode, I'm like, all right, roll past the credits, and they only do it in the last one. So I'm gonna give you a little help if you haven't seen it yet. But
Black Widow, though, you liked it, hey? Black Widow did Yelena not like steal the show?
Oh man! So again,
she was great.
Good.
Ted, have you seen Hawkeye?
I stopped watching after the first episode. I gotta get back into it.
If you liked Yelena, then I plead to you, just plow through this, and you won't be sorry. I promise.
Okay, that's what I've heard.
You will get some laughs. You will. It's good.
Are you guys familiar with her? Like the actress who plays Yelena?
Since
we've never really hung out,
this movie, yeah.
She was in that. She was in that Fighting with My Family.
Movie. Oh, the Rock's
movie. Well, the one where the girl goes from
That's
like
his daughter, right?
She goes from like undiscovered in England all the way to like stardom in women's title.
Right. Okay.
It's actually a pretty cool movie. It's like a WWE inspired movie. It was really good. It's based on a true story, which I was surprised to know. So
I love.
But she was great in that movie, and she was so good in this movie too.
There's just too much content out there, like there's too many shows. I mean,
there is.
Ted's still watching Breaking Bad. He can't keep up with Hawkeye when he's got to get through like the greatest show of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Brady, you ask it because this is your thing. So.
Yeah, Ted, we need a Breaking Bad update, man. We're dying for one here. What's going on?
So surprisingly, I actually didn't watch any episodes over Christmas.
You should be muted.
There was just so much there. Yeah, there was just so much other stuff going on content wise. That's what's killing me right now. B, you're right.
You did not break bad over Christmas.
I did not break bad over Christmas.
I broke bread.
I got hard back into Cobra Kai, which is so funny.
Nice. New season just dropped, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if you're watching it, but it's really good.
No, I heard you got to start it from the very beginning.
Yeah, Breaking Bad. I'm still at the episode where Walter's just killed Mike.
Yeah.
He's now discovered the giant stack of money that's sitting in his storage unit.
How heartbreaking, hey?
That's just ridiculous. Yeah. I had a hard time hitting back on the episodes after that happened too.
How much do you hate? I didn't realize it was
attached. Hate who?
Walt.
Walt's a bad guy.
You hate him at this point, right?
He like a bad dude. Like I don't hate him as much as I dislike Skylar.
Right.
Because she's just generally unlikable, like as a character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like she slept with her boss just to spite him.
But they just make you feel so bad for Mike. And they just make Walt look just like such an evil human being.
Like
I'm glad
I fucked Ted Walt.
Yeah. Like that's dinner conversation. Like past the corn.
That awkward dinner scene, man. Oh.
Yeah, could you pass the pepper, please?
Just the best.
And you know what? I'm glad I finished the show because I would still be waiting.
People tune into this and they're like,
I wanted to hear
what year is this episode from?
Yeah. No kidding. Because I mean, their spin-off show's finishing up already, and it's had like 5 or 6 seasons. So
What's that? Better Call
it's been a
Saul?
bit, yeah.
Just playing
Yeah.
some Pogs before the show, you guys. Little Pokemon cards and some Pogs before the show. Watch some Breaking Bad. Well, I'm glad we at least got an update on that. Not like it changed from the last time we asked.
Sorry, my texts are a little bit slow. I still have to use T9.
Just wait.
Man,
wait.
do you remember
wait.
that?
Oh yeah.
Just wait.
I remember saying stop fucking texting me. You're costing me 20 cents every time you do that.
Now it's just endless. Just like it's good. Did you guys see any the World Juniors before the World Juniors ended the next day? Did you see that?
Yes, like any good Canadian household, that was big in
Mhm.
my family.
That was Boxing Day, right?
Yeah, it was a good time.
Exactly. Great
It's a
time
good
with
time.
the family. Yeah.
It was like, hey, it's happened. Oh, then there's some COVID. Okay.
How sad, hey? Like those kids, they quarantined so hard for that tournament, and then it just
Unfortunately,
got
there was
shut
a
down
wedding.
anyway.
A wedding really ruined it.
Yeah.
A wedding
The
really
last time I really felt sad. Well, I felt sad obviously this year, but the last time I really felt sad was when the Canadians lost and DiPietro was in net. I really wanted him to get in there because it was just such a story, him making that team and then earning the starter spot and then losing it in the final. But it was still good to at least see them get a couple of games, those guys.
Yeah.
But too bad.
I mean, the one for Fleury scored on himself. That one hurt.
Yeah, and we got to see Connor Bedard go off pretty good there at the end.
Did we
Dude,
ever?
Dude's a cheat code.
4 goals in a game. Whew.
And then he comes home and scores a 4 spot for Regina. Now, one of my
I think it's actually pronounced Regina.
Regina.
Are we talking like Connor McDavid levels here? Or
Yes.
I don't.
Or is this
I don't know. He's not the same. I mean, Connor is just a beast. Physically, he's also a beast, right?
Yeah.
So is he maybe like how would you say it? Like a McKinnon, but like with McDavid talent?
No, I don't think so. I think he might be more of like a Sidney Crosby type in terms of his skill set. I don't
yeah,
know if
that's
he's
what I
as good
thought.
as Sid. Right? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, Sid the kid, man. Come on.
So
Guy's a legend.
So Connor, not Connor. So Bedard, I think, has the chance to be a generational talent. I don't feel as sold on it as I did, obviously, with McDavid and as I did with Sid. I know, Brady, you were a big fan of Lafreniere. I think he's had some tough play up in New York. But
what happened with him, eh? Ooh.
It's early. It's early though.
It's early still. And I think he still has a chance to be a great player, but it's not as sure as a thing. That's the comparison I'm using with Lafreniere, and I think he's better than Lafreniere, and I think he's obviously better than Hughes and those types of players. But I don't know. I don't feel as sold on him as I do as Sidney Crosby, but he's a similar player to that, I think.
Yeah,
he's so much fun to watch. One of my coworkers,
he's a better shooter.
Sorry. Yeah, her nephew or whatever plays for Regina as well. And so
rhymes with fun.
It does. He's getting to see this kid like on the bench. He's watching this guy like do it in person. Well, when he went to the World Juniors, this kid got a lot of more ice time. Anyway, came back because World Juniors ended. So he got to play with him on a line for I think like maybe less than a game. He's like, this guy, like he's on the line with this guy. He's like, yeah. He goes, you don't even remember to play hockey because you're in such awe of what this kid's doing. And like these are peers. They're like 16-year-olds, and this guy is like the best they've ever seen.
And who's your buddy or your
a coworker of mine? I think it's her son that plays out in Regina there. So like she's like we're getting updates like all the time, and like she's like, yeah, this kid, like all of his teammates, like they're jacked because like it would be like if you get to be on McDavid's team, like when you're just starting in, right? Or like you're just watching it firsthand. You're like, okay,
you're like you and I get to play on Brady's curling team.
Pretty much, basically, it's that exact thing. It is. It's. I mean, I'm okay, but it's been a while since I've curled myself a good game.
I'd probably pull a hammy these days.
Right out of the hack.
Right out of the hack.
Oh, hack! Good pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good hack pull right there. Oh my goodness, guys, things are just so good. Did you guys see speaking of international, did you guys see the Olympic roster that they were flirting with?
I've seen a couple mentions. I haven't seen an official list or anything, but I've seen Jake Virtanen on there.
Yeah, do I have the poop emoji lined up? Just a second.
There was Virtanen, and I think Lipstick was there too.
Was he really?
And who else did I see on that? There was more.
Owen Power was on there.
Owen Power's in there. Dubnik Cracknell. And
Cracknell was on there, yeah, again.
What an absolute,
what a legend.
Like Owen Power's
Adam Cracknell. Wow.
Yeah. Remember? People don't forget.
Adam Crackhorn.
That's a people don't forget segment right there.
Oh,
people don't forget. Like people should.
We'll have to do like a PP1 Olympic prediction roster.
It's like episode. They showed up. No one got COVID.
Oh man. Yeah.
Nobody got COVID.
I heard the NHL might be boycotting the All-Star game now, though.
I am this year.
I mean, the NHLPA. I mean, anyway.
Guys,
I'm pissed. I'm not gonna lie.
What would we do if they didn't have the All-Star game?
Dude, you know how pissed I am?
What would I do? Where am I going to go during that break? This is unbelievable. I won't stand for this.
It'd probably be a blessing, you know?
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
speaking of canceling,
we all tune in, though. We all tune in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every single one of us.
What am I really looking for? Instead of an All-Star game, can't they just have like a fastest skater and hardest shooter comp? They just pull every team's fastest skater and hardest shooter and gather them. Screw the All-Star game. Same with the NBA. Like all I'm really there for is I want to see the 3-point shooting and the dunk contest.
They should just throw them out there in like an all, just a Royal Rumble wrestling match or something.
Just call it the Giver.
Or make them do the fastest skater comp, one representative from every team, all at once.
And just call it the Giver.
Yeah, yeah.
So attract
like a roller derby.
Last man standing wins.
Yeah. Just stands up. You just lift up the stick, and then you go.
Who can knock over Dustin Byfuglien?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but honestly, are we really losing anything if they take away the All-Star game? Like,
no, but I mean, I just wanted to comment. Like, it's interesting.
No, you're right.
The players, they're not getting the chance to go to the Olympics, so they're like, "Hey, we're not going to play in the All-Star game."
Yeah, I was thinking about it too, and I was like, "Oh, bummer. Oh, wait,
never mind.
Do I actually care?" Like,
we've got. Oh, you know what? We have that dinner that weekend. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sick that weekend, not with COVID.
Yeah. You know what sucks? Ted, you and I talked about this a little while back. Like you had Ryder Cup taken away from you because of COVID.
Oh, Ryder Cup, and now the Waste Management Open.
So my line of work, I'm in flooring. So our big show is in Vegas in like 3 weeks. What is at the end of that third week? The NHL All-Star game. Both of them are in Vegas. We are not. I am so bummed. Like my boss and I'm like, I think it's going to be either at the end of our trip or at the beginning. I said, either way, we're either staying longer or we're leaving earlier. And then, restrictions and everything just have gotten out of hand. I'm like, I don't want to say this out loud because then it's true. And then we have to say it out loud. We're not going. So
yeah. Okay.
But like going in Vegas, like I've been now. And so a game on its own is amazing there. The All-Star game in Vegas would be a mess. And I want to.
That's what people would be missing out on, right? Like the game, the event itself being there would be like a blast.
Yeah, that would
it doesn't hold up on TV.
Yeah, no, it sucks. The game.
That's the perfect way to put it, Ted. It's like it's one of those things. Like if you're there, it's great. It's like watching regular season baseball. It's like you want to be at the field, not watching it on 32-inch TV.
Ryan, did you go to Pro Bowl? I can't remember.
You know what? I decided to switch lines of work, so no, I did not go to the.
You're probably better off. Whatever.
I was better off actually.
But the Pro Bowl would be another fun one. Pro Bowl weekend would be a good time, right? But like, I don't remember the last time I watched a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, the game itself is awful.
Like, I see a bunch of football players that don't hit each other,
except that one time when Sean Taylor did it, which was rad. Remember that the kick return? He absolutely crushed the punter. It's a good time. It's a good time. Sean Taylor, rest in peace. I'm glad we got.
For sure. But that was I don't know where you got that from. Yeah,
I was just saying we're talking about All-Star games. You guys saw. Speaking of awards, and I don't think we're talking about awards, but we're going to speak about them now. Thatcher Demko was third star of the month. He was first star of the week. The week he had his shutout there.
Mhm.
Third star of the month, rightfully so. He is getting himself into talks for the Vezina, which
All the
is
Are
way
you
out
sure you don't
west.
mean? Are you sure you don't mean starter for the Olympic team?
Yeah, and that, and that.
And that, even though, hey, we're not going, but we're going to name you unofficial starter.
here's
People
the
don't
piece of
people
paper.
don't forget, Ryan.
Here's the place card holder. Here you go. Thanks for being on the team. Like, guys, I'm an Olympian. Like, but did you go? No,
Yeah.
but they sent me the jacket, so that counts.
Beijing Olympics. What if?
Yeah. Could you imagine?
It's funny to go back and think about, because people are attached, about people being upset that they didn't re-up Jacob Markstrom, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny it's funny to think about that.
I mean, he's still doing. It's not that he wasn't like.
Still very good.
Yeah, but you
Mhm.
have to make that call, and they finally made one of those right calls.
Yeah.
Like
I would always stand by that call. I was happy they went the direction they went. I was going to be upset if they signed Markstrom long term. So,
But if they let's just devil's advocate, let's say they had,
Mhm.
then he just has to continue proving that was the right decision, because he was definitely up in his game. Like he was value for the money. But if you're going to keep him, you better hope he keeps doing what he's doing. And if he falls
for
down,
sure.
then that's
I
when
just don't think Markstrom moves the needle more than Demko does at this point.
Yeah, I think
And if he
they would
does,
have
it's
been
fractionally.
Yeah, I think they would have been fine, right? Having Markstrom as a starter, but
Sure.
you couldn't have both of those guys on the roster. And that whole idea of developing a goaltender like Demko, and prior to Demko, Markstrom, is the passing of the torch, right? Just Schneider Luongo, right? I mean,
it's more the Tanev Markstrom combo that I miss more than Markstrom himself.
You want to know what I miss? Should we go back into that story? Tyler Toffoli, in case you're forgetting.
Toffoli.
Hey, Toffoli.
Pretty sure he's having a down season.
He wouldn't have had one here.
Yeah, not on this roster.
And then getting into awards, you guys, the Vancouver Canucks won the Coaching Staff of the Month award, which until they announced it, I don't think anyone knew that existed. The Canucks coaching staff also did not know that existed.
Yeah, now I care.
Award. So now you guys reigning coaching staff of the month, Vancouver Canucks, Bruce Boudreau and his gang of merry men. Who cares? Like, why are we announcing a coaching award mid-season for the month? Like, you just announce one coach at the end. You won the Jack Adams. Thanks, bud. Appreciate your season. And that's the end of it. Why did they just decide to do this? Like, are they that dire for content in the NHL? Like, that bad? Brady, why are you on mute? I'm not sure. He's on.
Sorry, I was
just like, what are we doing here?
I was looking up a stat for something, and
that's okay. I
appreciate
you
lost me there.
So, like, why did they create this award out of nowhere? Like, is there like a bonus that gets paid out for this? Does anybody even know?
I don't know. Maybe you could search that, B.
That's funny. You got me in the cough.
Here I am looking up freaking hockey memes and missing out on my own show. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, just a second. What are you looking up? Like, this is really funny. You guys should check this out. You guys should really see this.
Okay, this is what I'm looking up. Okay, just to change.
Well, you better now. You got to clarify.
Well, I want to talk so much more about this coaching award.
Okay, all right. We'll get back to the coaching award.
Floor is yours.
But have you guys seen the Travis Green Narcos meme floating around? Like
no,
the
but
Narcos
I already
meme
love
of him sitting on the swing, but they just put Travis Green's face there. And it's just about the coaching and
he's
the,
like
the turnaround, and he's just all upset, and he's just by himself.
He was at the game in Seattle. I think.
Was he actually? He was at it.
Was it the Seattle game, or what was he at? No, he was at Abbotsford Canucks. He was at.
Okay.
So he's hanging around,
sticking around, eh?
Yeah.
Jeez, I thought he'd be I was up in like Mexico or something.
I guess that's not how it goes, right? You get fired, but you live there.
Yeah.
You've moved your family. He's got young kids, right? Like, you don't just I'm fired. See you later.
Guess I'm not going to work today. Like, should I still go in public?
I mean, we all like Travis Green. You know what I mean? I think different roster. different time. He probably has success, right, as an
Yep.
NHL coach, and he was a likable guy. And the one thing that I felt like
Respectable guy. Yeah.
right, respectable guy. The one thing that I felt Travis Green did better than a lot of coaches that came into coach in Vancouver was he carried the burden that the management team didn't. He was rolled out. He was rolled out there every single game. Every single time there was a major media announcement, things that had nothing to do with coaching an NHL roster. He was the guy that was accountable to answer to the media when he probably shouldn't have been. I'm not even going to say probably. He just shouldn't have been. It should have been Benning's call to answer, but it was Green. And so I will forever give him respect for all of that burden that he took.
Yeah.
In an area where he shouldn't have been on him. Like where he should have been focusing on other things.
Like there was the hockey ends racism, and there was the Jake for 10, and like
why was that Green?
You don't put out your
why on earth
coach. That's not his place to say. You get the guy that either owns the team, runs the team, or your media guy or whatever. You don't put out coach like, yeah, it's this. No, man, that's no.
This doesn't really seem like my thing, Travis. Can you go do that for me, please? Yeah, thanks. I'm probably going to need you to come in Saturday too.
Are we gonna keep that round pick, or are we going to trade that pick? Okay. Yeah. Travis.
Yeah. I like Travis. Is a real good guy. Real good guy.
Keep it to see you, Jim. Or maybe Bruce. There it is.
Bruce, there it is. Love it.
I'm kind of liking that that's just hanging around, and that enough people still hate it, and yet it's still funny. The whole Bruce, there it is thing.
Yeah, it's like a Christmas COVID mask. I'm going to remember it for a while.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he changed it every period too. Like, well, it's upside down. Now it's right side up. Like, what are we even doing? Like, I think it's just enjoyable to be happy again.
Yeah.
We kind of enjoyed the sadness for a long, long time. And we got through 2 seasons of this show on nothing.
On just a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
Glimmers. A glimmer.
We had the playoff bubble run, and the
playoffs were a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
But I'm at a campsite listening to it, which is like July 1st.
Exactly.
Weekend.
Yeah.
It was
Summer
so
hockey.
messed up. Yeah. It was so messed up.
Remember all the emergency pods?
Yeah.
We'd jump on and we'd just be so jacked up. It was a good time. I remember going out to a camp. I had to go to the camping. It was like a bachelor party, and the Canucks were playing Seattle. And I was just like, I did not want to miss the game, but you got to do what you got to do, right? And then I listened to it on the radio, and it was a blast. But that was it. And then it got really dark again for a bit.
I have a similar story. I was camping out. I can't even remember. I remember the area. It's in the Okanagan, obviously, and there was like this event going on, like some sort of lunar event where these beetles were falling from the sky. Hundreds of thousands of them. And you couldn't even see the ground in the campsite because it was covered in beetles. Jeez. That they had all fallen. And I was sitting in this little tiny tent, in the doorway to a tent. They have a little mudroom, right?
Yeah.
With the screen, listening to the radio while everybody was in the trailer, and I was sitting outside by myself while beetles were falling down on the thing, just so I could listen to the hockey game. But that's where we were at. It was a lot of fun, right? I would never have wanted to do that this past year, sit outside and listen to a hockey game, because it was just dog shit.
But now we're talking about a team that's actually winning. The power play, guys. The power play is at 20.6%.
It was the power play.
It was that was a good time. I should find that old entry. It was the power play that was the Canucks downfall. And then JT Miller, he's beasting up top 10 in points. He's got 16 power play points already, and he's 6 back of Connor McDavid for first in the NHL. Wow. Jonathan Timothy is absolutely roasting the NHL.
You think Jimmy T likes Boudreau's coaching style?
I think so. I think he can bounce back F words, and he's like, this guy's going to go toe to toe with me. We're going to go. I like it.
This is an interesting conversation, right? Because no matter what, this whole conversation about what was given up to JT Miller continues to be a talking point, right? So I'll argue in the past that too much was given up, even though he's a great player and I love him, right? And he's awesome. And then I think during his tenure under Green and Benning, it was debatable whether the Canucks could have moved him and still got a first in return.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you agree to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
It's debatable. They could have. They might not have, right?
Maybe a low
Mhm.
first. Yeah.
So if they were to trade him and not get a first in return, then obviously they paid too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now I think we're at the point where if they were to go ahead and move one Timothy, it would be a first bar none, maybe more, right?
And
It would have to be more because it'd be a stupid decision at this point.
So now it's taken this many years for it to basically play itself out all the way around, where Miller has now reached and exceeded his value for what was given up in the trade. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I think for me with JT is to get value out of that trade too, is to forget full value is you want to see a contract extension. And if you don't see that extension, then obviously you want to see him traded for something. You don't want to see him walk for nothing.
You can't be the Ham Hughes Verbata thing. No.
Exactly. So
I don't like that.
And I think just the way he's playing, and it's kind of in a sticky situation because you don't know about his age. Like you don't know how long this fire is gonna burn for him.
How old is he now? 20.
I think he's
29?
pretty close to 30. I think he's 28, 29 ish. So, he's kind of hovering around that age where you're not really sure. So,
yeah, like I'm of the mindset that we're at an all-time high in value.
You couldn't sell higher,
right? And and we don't pardon me. I don't think this is a team that's going to make major moves, right? But JT Miller leaving for a haul. I'm talking about a haul sets this team up for success in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And probably for the long term, right?
So
I'm of the mindset that you got to deal a player like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that JT Miller on a 5-year deal is something that I want.
Right. And that comes into with the whole age thing we're talking about.
Yeah,
right.
And I'll get lynched for that. I mean, I think the fall off is coming because it comes for everybody. Time catches up, right?
Yeah.
So I'll get lynched for that, I'm sure. But that's just, I mean, if we're not talking about the player and the name, and we're just talking about a business decision, I mean, I think that you probably have to make that move.
Have they got full value for him at this point? Like if we were to judge it,
well, no,
right
I don't think so. Because they haven't had playoff success.
Okay,
when you give up a first round draft pick,
is that his fault though?
It's not at all. But he's done everything to hold up his part of the bargain. But the team gave up future assets to make noise in the playoffs, and it didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So what else are you giving up your future for? You're not giving up the future for also Rance.
So basically a playoff berth. Okay, so and here's another thing then. So let's say they make the playoffs this year. They're out in the first round, which is entirely possible. At that point, I'm just taking on future. I'm not saying let's say he absolutely tears it up in the first round, but that doesn't matter. If they then make the playoffs and let's say go to game 7, then did it pay off? Okay.
No.
What do you think,
so.
Greg? What do you think, B?
I don't know, man. This team's just, all these changes have been great, but I just find this team's just still in such a funny spot. It's like, do we have enough to go forward? Do we how little is it? If we take a step back, how long are we going backwards again? I just feel like we're still kind of right in that middle area, and I don't really know which way to go with it yet.
Right, and I think that's Brady's Brady's thought process on the team, I think, is bang on, right? And I think that's why it's not a success. Because again, I don't think you give up first round draft picks, which is like gold in this business with this team, right?
That's where all the value is, for sure.
It's like gold. So you don't give up first round draft picks just to make the playoffs and be out in 7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With for any team that has major expectations, that's a huge loss.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a team this year that everybody said was going for it. You know what I mean? By everybody, I mean the management team mostly, right? There was a lot of people that said they were going for it.
Yeah.
I think this
out
team
in 7, big waste.
Yeah. I don't think this team's a true contender, but I do think that like they have the pieces, like Benning has put the pieces together for a playoff caliber team. Just, things have to, and maybe make some noise. It's just things have to fall perfectly for that to happen.
You know what? If you're trading away those first rounders, this is what you're missing.
Are you kidding me? What a play by Cale Makar. Watch the situational awareness. Drawing the defender and Kirby Doc. Lulling him in. Jams on the break. Cuts back. Takes us toward the net. Forehand. Backhand. Top shelf. Good night. What a play by Cale Makar.
What a play.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I'm still picking my job off the floor.
You're right. You're right, though, Ryan.
If anyone hasn't seen that, which you've been living under a rock, apparently, if you haven't seen that clip, like go watch it 60 more times, because I think that's like number 50 for me. That is now, Cale Makar is a special player, and I'm not saying you're going to get that every year in the draft, but that is the kind of talent you can. There's diamonds in the rough. Don't get me wrong. That is the kind of talent that you hold on to that first round draft pick for, because you ain't getting that in the second.
You're 100% right. Like you can't walk away from the chance to draft those types of players, right? Everybody points to, oh, they gave up the first round draft pick to Florida. Florida drafted this player. This player sucked. Therefore, it was a win. No, because that's not necessarily who Vancouver would have drafted.
Exactly.
Right. At that point, it's more about how good your team is that does the work to draft those players than it is about the pick, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a good team in place, which Vancouver feels they do, or definitely had during the bracket area, right? Then you can't, like, if you feel good about your situation and the team that you have in place to make those picks, then you have to keep those picks.
Yeah.
Unless it's going to put you over the top. The only time that you should be giving up a first round draft pick, in my opinion, is if it's going to literally put you over the top.
But then you already have that guy, right?
So, pardon me?
Then you already have that guy. Because if you're trading away that pick, you already have a Cale Makar. You already have Kucherov. You already have a Brad Marchand. You already have whoever that guy is. You already have that guy. So if you're trading away a first round pick, you better, like, it needs to be that one final piece, or that almost final piece, that if it isn't the almost final piece, he better be sticking around. If it's the final piece, then you can throw it as a rental, because that guy is going to put that many more points per game into your roster, into your lineup, and that's going to mean X amount of wins in the playoffs. Like,
yeah, I always go back to, and this wasn't exactly them trading away a first round draft pick. It was already a drafted player, but I always go back to when Dallas traded Jerome McGinley to the Calgary Flames in exchange for Joe Nieuwendyk.
Yeah.
An aging Joe Nieuwendyk who was still very, very good. Well, I would argue that Joe put them over the top, and they won a cup as a result.
They won.
They said goodbye to pretty close to I won't say generational talent, but they said goodbye to a player in Jerome McGinley who was a scoring champion and a league MVP.
He was an icon
multiple times, an icon, and it was worth it. Who on earth would want to give up Jerome McGinley? Nobody, right?
At the time, though.
But they gave him up. They got Joe Nieuwendyk. They won the cup. Deal was worth it, and I think Dallas makes that deal 10 out of 10 times because flags forever.
Because what's the rule? If you win the cup, all is forgiven.
Nobody cares.
If you win the championship, all is forgiven. Everybody kind of says, 10 years is kind of you don't have to accomplish anything after that is it 10 years? Is kind of
once every 10 years. If
you win, and especially you look at the franchises that had or hadn't won, that was Dallas's first cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Nieuwendyk won there, like, how many teams, if you have the opportunity to make that move and it does put you over the top and you win, whatever franchise that happens to be, from basketball, like Kawhi Leonard for the Raptors.
Yeah, perfect example.
That's a perfect example. It was one and done. They're going to build a statue for that guy one day, because he won them the title. They may not win one for a long time, or maybe they do. I don't know. But they got that one, and they got it in a city that remembers that. It wasn't in Columbus, Ohio. It wasn't in Memphis. It was in a major market, and he got it done, and he did it in style too, like the bounce, 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 swish. I mean, I'm not a Raptors fan, man. That gave me chills watching that.
We were all Raptors fans in that moment.
It gave me chills watching that live, and then the run that they made after, and then seeing how they beat the Warriors in the final, and the timeout when he called the timeout, and they didn't have a timeout. And I stood up. I'm like, they won. They don't have a timeout. That's a foul. You know, Fab Four when Chris Webber did that, right? Back in the NCAA.
Right.
That was the only reason I knew.
Oh, C-Web.
Yeah. But you make that move and you win, you will never forget that your team won a title. And it's not like, you know, it's not the 1914, you know, Vancouver Millionaires. It's not the 67 Maple Leafs. It's not the 80s Oilers, which is somewhat still, I'm going to say it kind of relevant, but not. Like, you win a title, man. People will remember forever. And you can get away with stuff. You can get away with a few decisions that maybe were a little shaky, but you know what? You won the title a couple of years ago. You're going to find a way to get back. Like Chicago right now. They won 3 titles. You figure it out. Figure it out, Chicago. You'll be okay. They won 3 titles, and man, were they dominant when they did it. All worth it. All worth it. If you're a fan of the Blackhawks, all good, man. You guys won us titles. Thanks. All good. Like it's important. So we're just about done. I think we do need to get into I gotta load it up. Waste some time. Brady, talk
some time.
Brady, talk about what'd you have for lunch today?
What did I have for lunch today? Food takes.
I had one of those frozen burgers from the Costco section.
Ooh.
And then I put it on the grill. It was frozen. I put it on the grill, and then I put it on a regular bun, and then I put ketchup and mustard on. So good.
You know those Nutella filled donuts that you were.
Oh, did you go there? You better not have went to Delta and got one.
No. But I need.
What does mine say? You guys! Dude! What does mine say?
Okay, that's great, but I still want to hear about the Nutella flavored donut.
No. I didn't. It inspired me to go get my own donuts, and I had this Long John from Save on Foods. Oh man, it was top notch.
What you're forgetting is you are in the Lower Mainland, and they have a Dunkin' Donut, or not Dunkin' Donut,
Krispy Kreme.
Do they really? I don't think I've ever had Krispy Kreme in my life.
In Delta, you got to go there.
Brady.
Is that where the Nutella filled one was at?
Maybe.
So. You need to do yourself a favor, and I don't care if you're on a diet right now or you're working out. No one cares.
No one's working out. Haven't you heard?
Right. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. CDC says it's okay to eat Krispy Kreme. Get in your vehicle or a SkyTrain or bus or whatever. Make a trip. You and the lady get down to Krispy Kreme. And you've had a Krispy Kreme donut, though, right? Before?
I don't think I ever have.
No. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Whoa. Mind blown. Just like that intro.
Man, you think you liked this Long John from fucking Save On?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I've to be fair, I've had it. It is pretty good.
It is good, but I mean, it's the Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put it on the 2022 bucket list, you guys. I'll put it on.
That tweet where it says, "Sure, sex is great, but have you ever?" And then you would add
on your January bucket list.
Donut.
That's where it started. That's where the whole thing started. Was Krispy Kreme. There you go.
Yeah, you'll eat it and then you'll make a sex face.
Nice.
You'll eat. Here's the thing. Now, this is the dangerous thing about Krispy Kreme. You can eat a whole box to yourself and not even feel guilty because they eat so easily. They're just like, I'll just have
on the way home from Vancouver last time we went, we stopped in Delta and I got three boxes, like 3 12-packs.
Because you can.
Yeah, because they come in these big flat boxes, right?
They do.
And I was like, okay, one for mom and dad, one for us, and then one to split up amongst friends. And then I accidentally ate 2.5 boxes on the way home. Just happened. It just happened. I didn't feel bad about it. Well, I did, but
not
it just
really.
happened. Yeah.
Like they're so light, Brady. Like they're so light and yet like savory and like
just amazing.
Just go.
Okay.
Go.
Oh man.
We'll do like a 1 bite donut review or something.
I want to.
Right. You'll eat the
Take
whole
a-
box. You're like,
You need
one
to take a
box.
video, and I want to see it live, or I want video proof of you taking.
And
your
here's
first
the
bite.
thing, man. It's
Mhm.
content. It's going to go viral. Be like, I've never had a Krispy Kreme donut. Let's do this.
It'd be like the first time the baby eats bacon or something, you know?
It is.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
is. This is
All
going to change your life.
Cool.
If
I'm
you don't
excited.
have chest hair, it's going to put chest
Maybe
hair.
I could do it before Tuesday, and I could bring it to the food takes episode.
that's a great idea.
Now you're talking. Now
Nope.
you're talking.
In fact,
so before we get
I would like to make a formal request for you to get also a Nutella stuffed Krispy Kreme donut,
Oh,
and then I
okay.
would like you to sprinkle caramelized bacon on top.
Oh man, I don't know about that combo, but I'll try it. Well, let's do it. Okay, let's go.
That's my sex face right there.
That's like when I tried the peanut butter bacon burger. It's like it's like those. I love those two things, but
It's good.
is it gonna be good together? You're not
You-
really sure, but then it
Did
actually
you not
is
like it?
good. You're
Oh,
like,
it's so good.
this is good. Like,
it's
That
the
was at
salty.
Tap House. Tap House had that, right?
that you're correct.
So good, man. Peanut butter's
Mhm.
just drizzling down. You're like, all over your face.
Yeah, exactly.
Like those smiley face French fries I had. Basically like that.
100%.
Basically like that. We'll finish off our food takes right after
Fuck,
this.
that was so gross.
I did it for the views. I'm not gonna lie. I just took the honey mustard and just shook it around. I'm like, yep, that's gonna get some likes. I went for clickbait and it worked, so that's all that matters. Dudes and guys, brought to you by our friends at Summer Skates. It's never too late. It's never too late to get yourself a pair of summer skates. I've got a pair on the deck. I go down the stairs, take the dog. I've also got another pair that I go get the mail in. They're great. They're comfy. There are skate lace uppers on them. You can get yellow Ovechkin laces if those are still available. I can't remember. We've also got our black PP1 Podcast ones, which are fabulous. And you should ask me for a pair, and I can hook you up. I mean, I'm not going to give them to you, but we can make it happen. We can make a transaction. Dudes and guys, there hasn't been a lot of hockey. There has not
No.
been a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
But we haven't done a dudes and guys in like 3 weeks. So
Mhm.
I feel that we should still have one because it is part of our program.
It is. You're right.
So Ted, I think let's do a rule. You cannot pick Thatcher Demko. It's only fair.
Okay.
You can't pick. We're at that point. It's weird. Hey, like, you can't pick. You can't pick Thatcher Demko.
We're probably not going to talk about it this week, I guess, because it's already too late. But we didn't even talk about Yaroslav Halak and the trade rumors.
I know, because they're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous.
What were the rumors though? What were they saying they were going to get?
I don't
for
even
Yaro?
know how that was brought up. They don't want to pay the extra 1.5 million because if he plays, if
don't
he
have the money
starts,
for it.
if he starts for 10 games, they owe him 1.5 million next year. But the
Mhm.
Luongo cap's coming off next year. But it's like one thing. There's a no trade clause there, and like those things don't come easy. And
How do you
he's not. He's not.
How do you get an
He's
NTC?
not going. He's not going anywhere. I think he
Like the
gets it because
backup?
of the cheap deal. I don't know. I thought the contract was kind of weird. I was like, why don't you just pay him? I guess
That's like two
They
homeless
really-
people
they
getting
really
a
had
prenup.
to cram it this year, so they had to pay him over 2 years because he could have gotten more than that on the open market. I believe he could have gotten more than what he's getting paid.
I'll tell you
But
what,
That
guys.
bonus kind of makes up for it.
I am a shrewd negotiator, and I am such because when I sign backup goaltenders, I give them no trade clauses.
Like it
It's a
boggles
weird
the
one.
mind.
It is
Like
weird.
it's like two homeless people giving each other prenups.
If you can,
Why? Why would you
If-
do
if-
that?
well, no, yeah,
It's
It
kind of
is
like
really
if you-
strange. If you
if
really
you- it
actually
would be-
break it down.
it would be like a rich person marrying a homeless person and not giving them a prenup.
that also works, and I would like to also see that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
I mean, if
completely
you
right.
can trade Yaroslav Halak and you can get
Well,
anything,
something because of the no movement clause. Yeah,
right? Say you can get a fourth round draft pick or a third round draft pick for Yaroslav
That's what-
Halak.
Mhm.
You make that deal
And who's
100 times
backup?
out of 100. Does it matter?
well, it kind of does.
Demko is going to play all the games anyways. I mean, you could
Bring
bring
me
up any AHL starter
Mhm.
and he can sit on the bench.
Yeah.
You could bring
Because
out
if you're going to trade a 36-year-old backup and get some sort of asset to help your team in the future, you always make that deal.
It's true.
Always.
That's true.
I remember when the contract came in, and then we found out about the bonus and how it was structured, and it was such a head scratcher.
Why?
It's like, well, this doesn't make any sense. This is a backup goaltender. He's going to play 10 to 20.
To be fair, you guys,
20 games.
To be fair, they did fire him.
They did,
of course.
and now we're still paying for it.
Yeah,
they did
for
fire him.
for another year after this. You know,
Can you imagine Rutherford's going through the books? Like, oh, you've got it. Not another.
What is this?
Not another.
But on top of that, though, like to see that on Twitter is just ridiculous. I know a lot of people aren't hardcore fans like we are, and they don't know all the ins and the outs. But like, he's got a no trade clause, so like, don't even bother. He's not going anywhere. And it's like the same thing with Tanner Pearson. It's just we keep seeing the same names coming up, or Alex Edler. It's like they're not going to get traded.
If you can trade Nate Schmidt, you can trade anyone.
Okay, valid argument.
Again, the Jim Benning got fired.
Yeah.
Well, in certain circumstances, I mean, yeah, you can sometimes trade those players, but I just don't see it happening in this situation.
Okay, dudes and guys. Ted, who's your guy?
Oh, I'm going with the not so friendly giant under Bruce Boudreau's system, Tyler Myers.
Oh, really?
What?
A complete turnaround for this guy. We've always said, I think.
Wait, I said guy.
Yeah,
like, no.
he said guy.
I said guy. You're saying Tyler Myers is a guy?
No, yeah, obviously. I got this wrong.
Okay.
I got this.
Ted, who's your guy?
My guy, Tucker Pullman.
Tucker Pullman.
Yeah, okay.
Our big free agent signing in the offseason, a guy that's supposed to completely replace Chris Tanev, defensive linchpin,
and
riding the pine. The pine.
He replaced them as far as a position goes.
Riding the pine in Bruce Boudreau's system, can't keep up. It's not viable. Maybe he needs to go to 1996 New Jersey Devils to be successful. He is not anything that I shouldn't say thought that he was going to be, because we didn't think he was going to be this, but he is who we thought he is. Mm-hmm. He's my guy this week. Just so average. And I guess it's not a spoiler that my dude's going to be Tyler Myers, but you guys can hit the rest of it.
Yeah. Still my dude of the week, but
we'll wait it out. I'm going to take a guy because Brady, sorry, I'm taking
go ahead.
It's not even like low-hanging fruit. It's just like I just forgot about him and I just remembered about him, and he deserves to be my guy. Travis Hamonic is my guy of the week. That whole situation just bugs me as a complete whole. Again, Jim Benning was fired, but come on, like you knew what was going to happen. You still signed the guy. You then, like everything else that's happened, all the restrictions and not being able to go into other arenas and cross the border, blah, 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 for all the current situation in the world. Why would you bring that? Like, why? Why would you do that? And Travis, you're an adult. Yes, someone's going to offer you money, but at least, like, man, come on, man. God,
was Vancouver's defensive depth so good that they could afford to sign a defenseman that could only play 2/3 of the games, like 1/3 of the games?
Come on,
man.
Come on, man. I shouldn't have to say it, but I'm saying it. Travis Hamonic, you're my guy of the week. You're my guy of the month.
Sorry, Travis.
Yeah.
Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Bob's good.
Bob's son here. My guy of the week. It is low-hanging fruit, I would say, at this point. Elias Pettersson. And for obvious reasons, I mean, he's struggled all season. He just hasn't been able to get back to that that elite status that we've known from previous years.
He has COVID.
And it's gotten to the point where it's kind of got people questioning if is he a flash in the pan? Is he for serious?
Serious?
Yeah. And
are you for serious right now?
Exactly. So he's half a point per game player, and that's just not good enough. And when everyone's firing on all cylinders right now, and he's still he still hasn't done that. I think he's making progress, but it's just not enough for me. Not enough yet.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
I like what I'm seeing. It's just it's still for him. It's not enough. So
He's
guy
not
of the
Pete.
week,
He's just Pedersen.
Question.
Elias. Yeah.
Question for you both.
Hmm.
So it's very obvious that PD and Hughes both saw success under Travis Green's old system, right?
For sure.
Couple
For
All-Star
serious.
games,
For serious. Yeah.
right? Some Calders in there.
For
Yep.
serious.
For
What
serious.
if, and it's also become very apparent that now Miller is even better than he was under Green's system, and guys like Tyler Myers have had a complete turnaround. They've gone from a complete dud to a complete stud, and they're just thriving in the system. So my question is, what's better for you? Is team success because of the current coach at the expense of Elias Pettersson acceptable, or would you rather have a coach that's going to utilize a player like Pettersson at the expense of everything else?
Team.
Well, yeah, team comes first, for sure. But if it's like
There's
if
too
it's a
many other
long,
things going on, right?
I think in our situation, I think if what you mean more so is if Elias Pettersson's going to be the difference maker or what gets us over the hump, then I think that's the direction you want to go. Like, is if we can, once we get him going, then everything kind of falls into place. Where the other way around, if everyone else is firing except Pettersson, we're just still not good enough. But if Pettersson's playing the best hockey he can play, he's given us a chance every night.
If this is Pettersson right now,
Mm-hmm.
a half a point per game player in this system,
Yeah,
it's a not mix.
But to be fair, I no one else said it.
It's a super theoretical question, but
No,
I mean,
but
I don't think you really get
with only
anywhere
9
with this
games?
situation.
if you're looking at a 9-game sample, and I mean things have been gravy.
Oh
They
yeah.
have. And I look at the team success right now, and he's in there, but it's not clipping. For 9 games, yeah, sure, that would be an issue because everything else seems to be looking rosy. But what if everything, once it kind of comes back to a little bit more to normal, then he's actually, starts figuring out that system? Because maybe it's just a thing he can't figure out the system, and things have changed for the better everywhere around him. And now the focus isn't on him. So he needs to work back, getting to the point where the focus can be around him. Maybe that's what he needs, is to not be the guy for a bit. Maybe he needs to just not be like Quinn Hughes is a great example too.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the guy right now, but he's become the guy.
Yeah,
Quinn Hughes
OEL's kind of really helped him.
Yeah. And I
shift
mean,
into a better defenseman.
there's
just
another
by-
guy. Like it's a team success for sure. And eventually, I mean, he's got the talent. It's pretty obvious. He does have the talent, and it'll come around. And maybe it doesn't come around fully this season, or maybe it's just really late that it'll happen. But I mean, this has been a pretty messed up season overall. Like all things considered.
Understatement.
It is
It's so wacky.
Like there's been so many things on this team alone that have been messed up, let alone in the NHL. There's been no consistency in the schedule. There's been no consistency on, how the traveling is working and protocols and this, that, and the other, on top of a massive change of owner or of management and the coaching and all that stuff. Now players that were good or were not necessarily good are thriving, and vice versa. Like there's so much chaos going on. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance a few people are going to fall by the wayside, and unfortunately, it's the guy that we want to be succeeding, especially after he signed a big deal. But if there's that many other things going on that are going well, I mean, you have to believe that eventually it's going to catch up, that he'll get back there. I mean, you have to believe. I hope I'm right, but
maybe
I think the difference is like great players, like regardless of all of those factors, is great players find a way to overcome those challenges. I mean, and I think that's what we're trying to figure out with Pettersson right now. Is he one of those elite guys that can be good always, and even when he's bad, he's still producing, or is he falling off and maybe being more of a Lafreniere, for example, or a guy that's hit and miss and maybe not as good as he once was or projected to be.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe PD was on that Sunwing flight.
At least he got food. Oh,
Now he's a
boy.
little bit sick.
Yeah,
Poor dude.
it's a little bit bad.
Now he won't be able to fly with Sunwing anymore.
Yeah.
He's got to figure it out soon, because I mean, like I just said, the great
You're a real
players
buzzkill.
figure it out. You know,
You're a real buzzkill, Brady.
That's some tree falling in the wood shit right there.
Oh, like I'm a little down right now. So bring it back up. Who's your dude? Bring it back up.
my dude.
Yes.
Well,
redeem yourself.
it was gonna be Tyler Myers, but it can't be. So,
Sorry, B.
Don't take.
And it can't be Thatcher Demko either.
No, so don't take mine.
Datra Themko.
So,
Brendan Fraser. No, not. He's not available.
you know what? Maybe Tanner Pearson.
You know what? You should talk about Tyler Myers. You should take it.
No. You take. You go ahead with the Myers. You were pumped. You were pumped, and I want to see you talk good about Tyler Myers. So.
Okay, so then talk about Tanner Pearson.
No, Tanner Pearson, man, he's just. I think he gets a lot of flack for his contract, and his production has kind of faltered a little bit. But he's had the line's been shaken up a little bit. He's not playing with Horvat as much, and 2 points against the Kraken. So can't complain about that.
Hat-trick.
Yeah,
that was a great Gordie Howe hat trick. That was a great game. It was.
Yeah. So you mean he's still got some fight left in him. So good to see him. Dude of the week.
That's a good pick. Way to bring Tanner Pearson back into relevancy. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, he's alive. He's alive.
He's alive. Ted, you look pretty excited to talk about Tyler Myers.
Yeah, I feel like the pump is gone a little bit, but I have to continue to give credit to Tyler Myers. Like just such a turnaround in his game. So this is like one of those guys that when he always looks good skating out there, right? That was never an issue with his game. But I mean, he was stuck in these like bogged down defensive situations where he had to be the guy to sort of handle it in the defensive zone. And we talked about it so many times over the course of a year, really miscast in that system, right? To the point where it was like, why on earth did you make the signing if you're going to completely misuse the guy? And if ever there was a player that looked worse than Tyler Myers when he was tired, I'd like to see him. But we never get to that point because Tyler is never in a mode where he's having to run around completely in his own end, right? He's skating fluently, these big long strides. He's moving the puck efficiently. He's getting it out of his zone quickly. He's allowed to roam a little bit because he's been given a partner that allows him to freewheel and freelance a little bit too, right? And it's this system that's not just so hell bent on being perfect defensively. It's about pushing the pace and attacking. And the players like that, and that's something that we all knew Tyler was good at, that we saw him do when he was a Rocket for years and years, that he did in his rookie season. Really, I mean, I think the guy is playing the best hockey of his career right now. I think he's doing things that a $6 million defenseman makes. He's doing things that a top 2 defenseman does. And I was starting to wonder if those things were even possible if he was in the right system. But enter Bruce Boudreau.
Is that not wild though?
Instantly his game changes. Like it was like
a snap.
It was like somebody took the cement locked on his boots and
just
bashed it off and let him go, right? Like,
gotta give him a little credit though. He has been better this season from the start, but he's been better since Boudreau's come in.
He just took right off. Like he just looks like he's on a mission right now. And then when you add that back into this game, now he's got this confidence, right? And then when he's in the defensive zone, now he's got this swagger. He's trying to take guys' heads off. He's running dudes over, right? Like he just, I mean, when you're doing it and you're getting it done in the offensive zone and you feel like, yeah, I got my mojo working. Now you feel like you can do it all over the place, right? And I'm clearly seeing that in his game right now. And I think this has got to be one of the biggest turnarounds in Canucks history in recent memory.
It's a renaissance.
It really is a bit of a renaissance for him. And I want to see how far this thing can go because, man, it looks so good right now. And I'm actually excited to see what Tyler Myers does game in and game out for the Canucks right now. So I didn't think I would ever say it, but praise where praise needs to be, right? I was a guy that dumped all over his game early on.
That's
and
true.
I'm a guy that will give praise out when it's deserved, and it is deserved right now, 100%. So Tyler Myers is my guy.
Are you hearing this right now?
Could you imagine?
He called him guy of the week again. That's okay. But...
Dude of the week. Sorry, dude of the week.
It's just Freudian slip. Could you imagine if he lifted the Stanley Cup, how high that Stanley Cup would go?
Oh man, he'd probably like
He could
What do they
wrap the
call it when
7th
they
man
do
banner
it
around it.
in the on the swing
Yeah.
set when they go all the way around? You'd probably lift
And
it
Tyler
up.
Myers, I mean, he's just still so tall.
Oh,
He
so
is very
stupid.
tall. He is not height challenged. My
Yeah.
dude of the week, because obviously it has to be, and it's not the guy that is coming back from the COVID protocol. It is Conor Garland. Conor Garland is amazing. I probably had him like every week, but that's okay. His little spinsies, his little spinoramas, his little dipsy doodles, his hustle, his absolute grind. Conor Garland is like, he's like a fancy JT Miller light. Like he's got like the absolute piss missile of JT Miller, but he's got like all the dazzle. It's like he took figure skating and he's applying it to the NHL.
Yeah,
He-
he's like a
he's-
golden retriever on steroids.
He's just like every time he's on the ice, he is like my second favorite Canuck now because Brock Besser always has a place in my heart. But just watching that guy, like I want to see what he can accomplish. Like Quinn Hughes and him should just like frickin' go and just play shinny together and be like, let's see what kind of crazy stuff we can get up to this weekend, because they clearly need to rub off on each other in the way that came out wrong. I'm sorry. Let's take a break. Let's take a break, fellas.
It's Friday. I'm clearly too immature for this
Oh
episode.
God! Oh God!
Conor Garland is very good at the Canucks hockey, and you should strike from the record what you just heard. Yes, he is very good at the hockey in the Canucks. Thank you for my TED Talk. This guy,
Man, I get the distinct impression that Conor Garland is a real asshole to play against.
yeah,
Like, he is a shithead. Like I had no idea he had that in his game. So despite all of those fancy things that you guys talk about and the figure skating and all, it's all right. It's all true. But that guy is like a pain in the ass. And I'm excited to see what a dude like Puck Colson can learn from him on the forecheck, because here's a guy who's very similar, but has more physically to give, I think, than a player like Garland.
yeah.
Because this guy does not give an inch for sure. And is he fun to watch.
Can we end this show talking about that line a little bit, like that PD, Podcoles, and Garland line? Like that's a sexy line right there, right? Am I right?
There's some talent there.
It's just got a little bit of everything, you know. Like I think they really complement each other, and once it gets going, it's going to be
Like going to one of those fancy
Mwah!
restaurants.
Gonna
You're
be-
like, I didn't know that this would taste so good.
I didn't know that you could mix peanut butter and bacon.
no, yeah.
I might
Holy.
ask for that on my next burger. Interesting. Yeah, it is a great line. You're absolutely right. It kind of takes it takes all like the pressure from where the obvious spotlight is everywhere else on that team, and you're like, you know what? I think we could enjoy this. We can enjoy what this is, and the other stuff will be okay. You know what I mean? Like Brady, you're absolutely right. Like it is a really fun line to watch. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Pods could be the beef. PD could be the always delicious peanut butter.
Yeah,
And then Connor brings the sizzle as the bacon.
exactly. Yeah, he burns people. You know, he gets in there and just burns and turns.
He burns and turns.
Yeah.
So let's end it on that. We do want to promote our big show next week, Tuesday night. It's going to be an absolute freaking burner of a show. The PP1 Podcast is hosting, I don't even know what we're going to call it yet, but Food Takes. You're going to rip on Ted for his mashed potatoes.
I'm going to get dumped on all episode, I think.
We are going to freaking dump all over you, like right on your chest. Absolutely. Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, mashed potato dump.
That's right.
With gravy.
With gravy. Oh,
Yeah, we don't even talk
maybe
about
some-
how much mashed potatoes stink when you put them in the fridge, too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that okay. Yeah, you got me there. That's true. Yeah.
Or they get like, yeah.
It's like, hey, who farted in my fridge?
But let's be real. Any sort of like mashed potatoes is probably the only potato you actually want to put in your fridge and reheat. Like you're not going to go and reheat fries. You're not going to go and reheat
fries.
a baked
No, like,
potato.
Little nugget potatoes, they're good to reheat.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we'll save it for Tuesday. We'll save it for
Nugget
Tuesday.
potatoes, baked potatoes.
Make sure you guys tune in. This is going to be a freaking barn burner of an episode. We've got Ali Mars is coming from Welcome to Mars podcast. We've got, I'm hoping our good friend Jordan Bowman's coming. I think Chris Faber said he was going to swing by. We've got Michaela Matz from the PNW Showdown. Great podcast you should check out. The boys from the Ball Hawks podcast will be here.
From
Obviously,
Twitter fame, I think we got Jenna Fabulous and Keeks is going to be there.
Right. She made her podcast debut on our show many moons ago.
That's right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's like you guys are going to want to come in. Please, please, please come to the live feed because you're going to want to get in on the conversation. I think we'll let it go as long as reasonably possible. I think we're going to try to get it about 8:00 Pacific time. And like, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, it's food. We all have opinions on it. Like ketchup chips, they suck, obviously. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about... This is going to be good. We're going to have... There's going to be so many food takes. Brady's going to talk about that keg burger and the bun.
Frozen burgers, baby.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get the sound clip for that for next week so you can play it.
I got to... Oh, man, I'm going to have to dig.
You
It's
dig
probably
it. Yeah,
gonna be
that could take a
episode
while.
3.
Yeah, that could take a
Episode
while.
3. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You guys, this has been a... I don't know how we do it every
It's been a
single time.
doozy.
It has been a doozy. This is the PP1 podcast. We are on the Dean Blundell Network. We're partnered with our good friends at Summer Skates. And next week, we got a new friend to talk about. And you're going to want to pay attention. So,
Especially people in the Lower Mainland.
Lower Mainland, Kelowna, Victoria, you guys are going to want to pay attention. We're partnering up with a good friend of ours, a listener of the show. You're going to want to pay attention to that. Yeah, this has been so much fun. Hopefully there is another Canucks game to talk about the next time we get together. Brady, good to see you again. Ted, always fun. You guys, thanks. Make sure you subscribe to our show. Subscribe to our YouTube page. That's where you can comment on there. Check us out on Twitter. Ted's got some amazing takes and some dad jokes from time to time. As I all say, on behalf of Ted and Brady, I'm Ryan. This is the PP1 Podcast from the dungeon, the basement, in Ted's living room. Peace out.